What's up everybody, Zack Brittain here with Phipps Real Estate, and are you considering buying a property? Or maybe you're considering buying your first home. Now, we are still in the COVID-19 pandemic and we have experience navigating it with our buyers. So we are going to break down in this video how to buy a property in a global pandemic and things to consider. You're going to learn how to prepare, how to take action, and things you need to know about viewing properties in a global pandemic. So let's get into it. So the very first thing you need to do when you're buying your first home, especially in a global pandemic, is set your goals. You need to have an open and honest conversation with everybody that's going to be involved in the home buying process, whether it's partner, family members, extended family members, friends, and maybe your real estate agent who you're having these conversations with. This will help you set goals for when you want to be in your first home, the type of properties you want, as well as start to establish some of the financial items that you're going to need to really understand in order to make that happen. This would really take into consideration on the type of market you're in as well. When you're setting goals and you're starting to figure out how possible these are, understanding where you fit into your market, the type of real estate market you're in is super important. Now, side note guys, if you're looking in the Waterloo region right now, you're in a seller's market, which means there isn't as many homes available as there are that buyers would like to buy them. That creates the condition of competition. So you as a buyer have to think, I'm going to be competing with other buyers to make sure that I can purchase my first home. This is the very first thing you need to do when you're considering buying a property, and will help you better understand what types of properties you like, how you fit in, and the timelines that you really need to execute on to make sure you pull this first move off. So as a buyer that's setting goals, really important things to consider, like we mentioned, are going to be the type of market you're in, who's involved with the process, the types of properties you're going to want. That's really going to get you started off on the right foot. Now, when we work with our buyers, we take them through a goal setting program to make sure that they're very clear, very clear on what the end goal is. This will help you as a buyer, especially navigating a competitive and a little bit more tedious market, which would be the market in the global pandemic now, so that you know how to navigate it and you're making fewer mistakes and you're wasting less time. After you've done all of that, the next step is really getting deep and clear with your numbers and the market. This is, figuring out what your mortgage financing is. Get that confirmed with your bank or your mortgage institution or your mortgage broker. That's number one. Now that you've established that, between your mortgage agent and your real estate agent, you can start to establish different financial scenarios depending on down payments, purchase prices, property taxes, and everything else in between. This will help you better understand all of the target opportunities that will fit your financial budget in your market. As I mentioned as well, you've probably already considered the types of homes you want and when you'd like to be in the home, and also probably read a little bit about on what type of market you're in. Like I said before, in Waterloo Region, we are in a strong seller's market, so that means there's very little inventory for buyers to go out and purchase. Now, if that is the market that you're in, take that into consideration and also go a step deeper on the data. That's something you can rely on your real estate agent to help you with as well, is what type of price data is there out there? Right? How quickly are properties selling that are in your price point or in the style of home that you like or the neighborhood that you're interested in? Getting specific will only give you more clarity on how you can best operate and how you can move forward to actually search for, view, and acquire those types of home. This preparation stage should not be underestimated as a buyer, as it will only prepare you to execute on your strategy and find a right home at a good deal in what is a competitive real estate market. So as a buyer, especially a first-time buyer, it is really important that you take the preparation stages very seriously. This is actually where your real estate agent can come into play and take a lot of that legwork off your plate and get you up to speed on where you fit into the market, what your budgets are going to be, as well as how competitive and straightforward finding your target properties are going to be in their local market. So congratulations, once you've done that, a lot of the heavy lifting is done and it's time to get into the fun stuff, and that's taking action. And when you're taking action, it's a little bit different in a global pandemic than it is traditionally in our local marketplace. And there's two things that you really need to take into consideration, and that is managing your time properly and leveraging the tools and technology that is now available to you as a buyer to help expedite and make your buying process more efficient. Buyers, let's talk about time management. Now you're excited to go view lots of properties, you've gotten all your goals all set up, you're prepared with your mortgage pre-approval, and you've learned your market and target properties a little bit. You're ready to go. Perfect. It's the fun time. We're going to go view tons of listings, but stop for 2 seconds and consider the differences now that COVID-19 is here. What we're getting at is, because COVID-19, there's been rules and regulations that have changed how you can view properties. First and foremost, showings are now a maximum of 30 minutes on most listings where they used to be an hour. As well, you are restricted on how many people can typically go through a property at any given time. Now, I just caution you, please check with your local professional, real estate agent, or health guidelines on what your restrictions and regulations are going to be in your local marketplace. But here in Waterloo Region, you are allowed typically 1 buyer's agent and 2 adults through a showing at any given time. And you're thinking, okay, Zach, that's not really that different, just fewer people through the home, but I'm gonna stop you right there. So if we're only allowed 1 person plus 2 buyers in a property at any given time, and we're only allowed 30-minute showing increments on properties, and our market's competitive because we're in a strong seller's market, you can sometimes see that properties are going to be really booked up at common time frames during the week. So hypothetically consider this, guys, and follow with me for a second. Property lists on a Monday, they're taking offers the following week. You have 5 weekdays in the evening that are going to be your busiest, and then weekends that are also going to be busiest for showings, assuming that the sellers are willing to leave the home. So you as a buyer, you only have 7 days to book a showing where you can go view that property, depending on your work schedule, personal life schedule, right? As well as what other homes you want to go view. So as a buyer, what I'm getting at here is it's very important to make sure you're prepared so that you know exactly what your target listings are and so that you're using the right tools so you can see the listings as quickly as possible. This gives you the certainty that you can actually get in and physically view the homes as well as maybe book a second showing in the future of the week if you're super interested in looking at that property. So in summary, as a buyer, please have the conversation with your real estate agent on how easy it is to book showings for your target properties and how likely you are going to be able to view the homes that you really want to view before they sell in your local marketplace. Right now in Waterloo Region as a buyer, it's super competitive, so I cannot stress enough how important it is to be prepared and consider your strategy when you're actually viewing homes online and booking your showings. Speed is going to be your best friend, so please contact your real estate agent and make sure you come up with a specific plan on how to communicate and book your showings so that you can actually get into the homes before they sell. Buyers, the next thing that you need to do to purchase a home in a global pandemic is leverage technology, and stop right there if you're not a tech geek. No worries, we got you covered because these are really simple tools and tricks that anybody can use, even your grandma. So what you're gonna do as a buyer is you're gonna make sure that you're viewing the listings on the right search tool. And you're saying, Zach, you know what, I'm on realtor.ca, I'm on the website, I see all the listings. Yeah, no problem, but I'm telling you right now, you gotta get connected with the Realtor Matrix system. This is the best way to search for market properties so that you get them as soon as they hit the market and you get all the relevant information that's the most accurate. So once you get set up on that, and that's the tool that we use for all of our buyers, then you get access to other things like the virtual tours and the layouts. So what you can do is you're swiping through the pictures, the price point, the features look good, and you're saying, you know what, Zach, I want to take a look at this one, and then you're going to go take it a step further and look at the virtual tour. And if you haven't looked at a virtual tour, guys, yet, I stress this to all of our buyers to take a peek at this before we physically go view the home. The virtual tour is a 360 click-through tool, so you can go through the listings you're interested in room by room, spin the camera 360, look at the ceiling, look at the floor, check out all the walls, all the finishes, all the features and the appliances, everything, all before you even leave your couch. You can do it on your cell phone. It's super easy and super powerful to make sure that the interior of the home actually looks the way you want it to look. We get it. Pictures can be a little suspect sometimes, but the virtual tours are a much better look, and you can determine within a couple minutes clicking through the listing virtual tour that it's going to be a good fit for you. So awesome. You as a buyer, you've taken a look at the interior with the virtual tour. Take it a step further, guys. Go onto Google, hit the Google Street View, and click around the neighborhood a little bit to make sure that if you're not already familiar with it, it gives you the right feel, right? What other buildings are beside it, behind it, how busy are the streets or the side streets coming to and from that area. As well, flip over to the Google satellite view so you can see what the property would actually look like. Is there actually a fence in the backyard if you can't tell? What does it look like in the spring when everything's grown out? Are there trees for shade and shelter? And gives you a much better feel for what the neighborhood's actually gonna be like before you even leave your home to go view it. The purpose of leveraging technology here is to get as much information as quickly and easily as possible so you don't waste your time booking a difficult showing to go view a home in a pandemic without even knowing it's going to be a good fit for you. The last thing you want to do is take a step out of your car and be like, you know what, I should have just looked at Google Street View. This area is not for me. I'll stop right there before we go to the next section. Final tip. You can always ask your realtor. You check out the listing online, you go through the virtual tour, and you're not 110% sure. Ask your realtor if you think this is going to be a good fit for you. If you've set your goals and you've done all the preparation like we've already walked you through and like we walk through all of our buyers, the realtor should have a really good idea on if that property is going to be worth viewing. The last thing you want to do is waste your time to drive across town to go view a property that isn't even close to what you want. And that is how you can leverage technology to save you time in your home search during a pandemic. So now that you've already gotten on the right system to search your properties, you've leveraged technology to scope it all out and make sure it's worth a viewing. Now I'm going to go through some key points that you need to know when you're physically viewing homes in a pandemic. First, masks are required to enter any listings. Again, I can't stress enough, check your local guidelines and health regulations, but in Waterloo Region right now, you need a mask to go view a property. Typically, sellers only allow your realtor and 2 people at the home at the same time. That could be subject to change, and some sellers are willing to make exceptions if you need to bring a contractor or family member through, or again, maybe if you have kids. Next, sellers typically only allow 30-minute showings, whereas it's more common to have 1-hour showings. So if 30 minutes isn't enough for you to get through your property, ask your realtor to make you other arrangements. But again, make sure we do those in advance so that the seller or the listing agent can make arrangements if need be. In addition to that, traditional open houses are not typically accessible anymore. They're coming up a little bit more now but again, it's going to change market to market and as the situation develops with the pandemic. So contact your local realtor or your real estate board if you have questions on those. Young children aren't always allowed in homes, guys, so you buyers there that have kids, you may have to make other arrangements to have them looked after or taken care of while you go view homes. And if you've gone through the process of setting your goals, understanding the type of market, communicated with your realtor on which items are important and not important, as well as the strategy to actually find and view homes, they're going to want to be effective with your time. And we want to make sure that when we're showing homes, we're not wasting your time taking out stuff that you either aren't going to end up buying or not going to end up liking. So we want to be very purposeful. And as a buyer, you don't want to waste your time either, especially if you have to make arrangements for yourself or for your family. In addition to that, sellers are requesting that only realtors touch items in properties and home, or you limit to physically touching things in the property. So bring your sanitizer, maybe bring a set of gloves, make sure you have your mask on. And if you would like to look at specific items in the home, ask your realtor to access it or ask them if there's any special notes from the listing agent or the seller. You want to make sure you're respecting people's personal space. And they're letting you in their home during a pandemic. They understand the risks, but you also want to make sure that you're being respectful. Next, we just recommend that you sanitize your hands before and after you view a home. Again, personal preference, but as a realtor that goes in to view lots of properties, that's a practice that I generally take, as well as following the additional health rules and guidelines that are outlined by our local real estate board and health organizations. Please, I cannot stress that enough, lean on your realtor, lean on your local real estate board, and do a little bit of your homework to make sure that you're comfortable and you're not wasting your time on items like this. It's super important that you make arrangements in advance. This will only help you succeed and stay less stressed to make sure you're making a smart decision when you're buying your first home. In summary, guys, if you're buying your first home in a global pandemic, you need to know how to set your goals. You need to get everything ready before you start searching. That's including knowing your budget and your numbers and where you fit in as a buyer in your local real estate market. Lean on your real estate agent to help you clarify these and make sure that you're setting realistic goals given the landscape in your local real estate market. Next, you need to practice and utilize time management and technology to help you search for properties the most efficient way possible. The last thing you want to do is waste your time going and viewing a bunch of homes during a global pandemic if you don't have to, especially if you have to make arrangements to either have you or your partner or your kids at home. You want to make sure that you're doing this as efficiently as possible so you're not wasting your time. After that, please just make sure you guys are following the local health guidelines. You can ask your realtor, you can look them up online. And finally, let your realtor book the showings that make the most sense for you guys and advise you on where the good deals are going to be. Lean on them for their advice on what good areas are, what good value can be. And again, that is much, much easier if you follow the goal setting, time management, and resources before you go and actually go view your first home. So this, guys, is a quick summary and some specific notes on how to navigate the real estate market during a global pandemic. If you are looking to purchase your first property or any property during the global pandemic and want more advice, we have a blog post on our website now, and you can set up a quick one-on-one call with myself or my partner, Matt Phipps, to better understand what your goals are going to be and where you're at in the process. From there, you can get any resources that you need from us to make sure you're on the right track to purchasing a property in a global pandemic the smart way. Thanks so much for checking out the video today, guys. If you liked what you saw, make sure you hit that subscribe button and leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. Thanks so much. We'll see you soon.